Triple gems for you all. The Dhamma sermon conducted based on the book The Explanation of the Factors of Enlightenment from the series of Dhamma books authored by Most Venerable Professor Rerukane Chandavimala Thero is titled by Mekala Niwena Bana. We respectfully welcome our Venerable Sandalankawe Kalyanadassana Thero to deliver Dhamma sermon. Today, this Dhamma sermon is sponsored for worldwide broadcast via Jaya TV by Mr. Saman Kumar along with his wife and daughter. Now, we respectfully invite Venerable Sandalankawe Kalyanadassana Thero to deliver Dhamma sermon. Let's pay the homage to Lord Buddha by reciting Namaskara 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ Saranang Gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ Saranang Gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchāmi.
Saranāgamaṇaṃ sampunnaṃ.
Āmabante.
Pānātipātā vēramaṇī sikkhapaдаṃ samādiyāmi.
Pānādipātā vēramaṇī sikkhapadan samādiyāmi.
Adinādānā vēramaṇī sikkhapadan samādiyāmi.
Adinādānā vēramaṇī sikkhapadan samādiyāmi.
Kāmesu miccācārā vēramaṇī sikkhapadan samādiyāmi.
Kāmesu miccācārā vēramaṇī sikkhapadan samādiyāmi.
Musāvādā vēramaṇī sikkhapadan samādiyāmi.
Musāvādā vēramaṇī sikkhapadan samādiyāmi.
Surāmēraya majjapamādaṭṭhānā vēramaṇī sikkhapadan samādiyāmi.
Surāmēraya majjapamādaṭṭhānā vēramaṇī sikkhapadan samādiyāmi.
තිසරණේන සද්දින් පංචශීලං ධම්මං සාදුකං සුරක්ෂිතං කତ୍වා අප්පමාදේන සම්පාදේ තබ්බං.
ආමබන්තේ සාදු සාදු සාදු.
සමන්තා චක්කවාලේසු අත්‍රා ගච්ඡන්තු දේවතා සද්දම්මං මුනි රාජස්ස සුනන්තු සග්ග මොක්ඛදං ධම්ම ශ්‍රවණ කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා. ධම්ම ශ්‍රවණ කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා. ධම්ම ශ්‍රවණ කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා. නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. පතව්‍යා ඒක රජ්‍යේන සග්ගස්ස ගමනේනවා සබ්බ ලෝකාදිපච්චේන සෝතාපට්ටි පලං වරන්ති. With respect to the most venerable Mahasangha and dear devotees, the Dhamma friends, welcome to yet another Dhamma discussion on factors of enlightenment. As you all know, dear devotees, we are in the discussion of the factors of enlightenment regarding or using the book written by Rerukane Chandavimala Mahanayaka Thero. The name of the book is called The Explanation of the Factors of Enlightenment. In Sinhala version, it is given as Bodhipakshika Dharma Vistaraya. In this well-written book, the Rerukane Chandavimala Mahanayaka Thero has explained 37 factors of enlightenment which are conducive to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. So, dear Dhamma friends, today's topic is the four right strivings, Chattaro Sammappadana. So, in last Dhamma discussions, last Dhamma sermons, we have given you the information and insight related to the four establishment of mindfulness, Kayanupassana, Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana, and the Dhammanupassana. Now today, we are giving you the information using this profound book, the four right strivings, also termed as four right energy, or Sammakpadana. In fact, this is also termed as Vayama or Virya. If I start the discussion like this way, the Rerukane Mahanayaka Thero has written, Chattaro me bhikkave Sammakpadana Katame Chattaro Ida bhikkave bhikkhu anuppannanang papakanang akusalanang dhammanang anuppadaya Chandan janeti vayamati viryang arabati chittam paggannhati padhati uppannanang papakanang akusalanang dhammanang pahanaya anuppannanang kusalanang dhammanang uppadaya uppannanang kusalanang dhammanang titiya asammosaya bhiyo bhavaya vepullaya bhavanaya paripuriya chandang janeti viryang arabati chittam paggannhati padahati. So, dear devotees, now we, even though these stanza are from Pali language, but it is easy to understand. Chandang janeti, you have to generate a desire. Viryang arabati, you have to make effort. And chittam paggannati padahati, you have to arouse energy. You have to apply your mind, and you have to strive. For what? Uppannanang papakanang akusalanang dhammanang pahanaya anuppannanam papakanang akusalanang dhammanang anuppadaya. And also anuppannanang kusalanang dhammanang uppadaya uppannanang kusalanang dhammanang titiya asammosaya bhiyo bhavaya vepullaya bhavanaya paripuriya. So, dear devotees, now if I elaborate this, suppose now there is, for instance, I am taking an example, a garbage dumping area. You know, if you need to clean that particular area where the people are dumping their garbages, so what you have to do? You have to do four things. First thing is, you have to stop the further adding of garbage. You have to educate the people. Now this is not a garbage dumping area anymore. Now you have to stop putting your garbage bags in that particular region. So that is the first thing. Second thing, In order to clean that particular area, you have to remove the already present garbage from that region. And next thing is, when there is a garbage bag, the normal nature of the people is they put more and more garbage. They dump garbage bags, their own garbage, into that particular area because now they see that particular area as garbage dumping area. Now, because of that, once you clean all the garbage from that particular region, then you have to make sure that this is not an area for the garbage anymore. So what you have to do, at least you have to cover that area with fine sand or white sand, or even you can grow some plants in there. Maybe you can keep some flower pots. So then this is what you have to do to clean the area. First thing, you have to stop the adding more and more garbage. Second thing is you have to remove all the garbage already present in there. And additionally, you have to plant some plants or flower pots there, and you have to look after those plants or flowers that you have grown in that particular area. So after that, once the people realize now this region is not a garbage dumping area anymore, so we should not dump our garbage bags in there. So that the same analogy we can use for the mind as well. You know, our mind has the two parts, the wholesome part and the unwholesome part. Let's take wholesome states and the unwholesome states. When there are wholesome states or wholesome thoughts in our mind, it is very serene, it is very beautiful, right? So then again and again wholesome thoughts arise due to the wholesomeness. And if the mind is stained with these kind of defilements, now that unwholesome creates that, just like a garbage dumping area, it will collect more and more garbage. The same manner, now this mind of that particular practitioner will be defiled more and more if there are the defilements. So what we have to do is, the unarisen defilements, the arising of unarisen defilements, we should stop. And already arisen defilements or unwholesome states, we have to abandon. And when you come to the wholesome counterpart, the unarisen wholesome state should be developed. We should act as the wholesome states or thoughts arise in our mind. And once there are the wholesome states or wholesome thoughts, we should maintain them. We should develop them. We should keep them up so that they will develop further and further until or ultimately we will attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. So we need to strive on these four conditions. For what? We have to strive for stop the arising of unarisen defilements. And we have to strive for the abandoning of the arisen defilements. And again, we have to strive for, we have to arouse our energy, we have to generate our desire to generate more and more wholesome, unarisen, wholesome states or thoughts. And also finally, when there are wholesome thoughts or states have been raised in our mind, so we have to practice them further and further. We have to keep them up so that they will increase in our mind. So ultimately, we will get the supreme bliss. So this is what we call the 4 right strivings. So, Chattaro Sammapadana. Dear devotees, what is the necessity? Why we need the energy? Why we need this kind of virya? Thero has written like this way, for each and everything we need the courage and the energy. Even to get the position of a clerk, one has to learn starting from the age of 5, 6 and then learn for many years. From primary school, then to the middle school, then the upper middle or higher school. Likewise, now let's take the ordinary level, advanced level, sometimes the university level, though as an undergraduate or postgraduate. Now we have to cover some skills. We have to develop those skills so that we will be competent for that particular task or that particular profession. So the same manner, think about these supramundane achievements. Now Navalokuttara Dhamma, so-called the 4 fruitions, 4 paths, and the Nibbana, altogether called the Navalokuttara Dhamma. So these things, to achieve these higher spiritual goals, dear devotees, definitely we should have very high amount of energy. So that is what we call the Chattaro Sammapadana. What about the laziness? Being lazy, one cannot engage in that and would never be able to become a clerk even. Forget about the profession, but any kind of status or to achieve any kind of better position in the society and as well as maybe in your working environment, a person should try hard. He or she has to push her or himself towards that particular goal. So if there is laziness, now that is the opposite of this courage, or that is the opposite of this right striving. So always keep it in mind. So we have to try hard, we have to pay the strenuous efforts, we have to make an effort to achieve the goals. Dear devotees, now here we should know what is the significance of achieving these supramundane goals. The topic I have recited the stanza, the Prathyaweksha rajjena saggassa gamanenawa sabbalokaadi paccena sotapatti palang marang. Now dear devotees, now in this stanza Lord Buddha said, supramundane fruition of stream entry, that means sotapatti phala, is better and nobler than the sole sovereignty over the earth, the Chakkavatti Raja. Then better than going to heaven, being a deity or a god. Better even than lordship over all the worlds, including heavens and Brahma worlds. Now, see, Lord Buddha's advice is, now if a particular practitioner can attain the fruition of stream entry, the Sotapatti Phala, that is very high level of achievement with compared to the Chakkavatti Raja Sampatti. If you will become a monarch or to the whole world, but still that is very minute, negligible with compared to the having this supramundane achievements like the Sotapatti Phala. Why? Dear devotees, there is a king of God named Sakka. So now Lord Buddha says, even you have become a king of gods, now that is useless. Why? Because that particular being has a view of personality belief, Sakkaya Ditti. Now this Sakkaya Ditti, because of having that in an uneradicated manner, that leads to the hell. Still, there is a potential to be born in a hell. Even after the lifespan of a Brahma, even after the lifespan of a king of God or deity, or maybe a human, now still there's a chance of being born in hell. You know these woeful realms, dear devotees, now there are very, high degree or high level of pains and griefs or sorrow. So because of that, even as a king of God, he might spend a very luxurious life over the course of thousands of years, but at the end of that lifespan, he will be born in as a being in the hell. So in that case, if we couldn't eradicate this personality belief, sakkaya ditti, now we are in a danger. So that's why, dear devotees, we should develop these supramundane levels further and further until we achieve the supreme bliss of Nibbana by attaining the Arahanthood. If I explain that further using the facts given in this profound book, the Thero said, his pleasures in the palace is only for a short time, just like the dancing and swimming of a crab in the pot on stove until the water is boiled. You know, this is a very good simile used by the Lord Buddha. You know, we are experiencing a temporary pleasure. You know, as human beings in this realm, we experience sorrow and the pleasure, alternatively. But when it comes to that, the Deva realms, now those states, those realms are full of happiness. Let's take not the happiness. In fact, there is more pleasurable things, that the vision is pleasurable, and hearing sounds, then the music, and the things to eat, dancing, and the plays, everything is very pleasurable with compared to the human realm. But even though the degree of pleasure is very high in those realms, but still at the end of that lifespan, they will suffer in the hell. Even such a person who is destined to go to hell is not completely refrained from unwholesome deeds. Suppose that a particular person, we all are, unless if we have eradicated these personality belief or sakkaya ditti sanyojana, we have got the warrant for the hell. In fact, that depends on the wholesome and unwholesome activities that you are performing. But anyway, there's a chance, there's a potential that human beings are, there's a possibility that we will be born in the hell. So always we have to eradicate, we have to abandon these unwholesome states or unwholesome thoughts from our mind. And also, dear devotees, we have to inculcate the wholesome states further and further. So therefore, whatever position the state of untaught ordinary person is extremely dangerous. Dear devotees, now you are listening to this Dhamma sermon because you are having some kind of view that there is karma and there are results of karma. That if we are performing good karma, there would be good results. If we are performing bad karma, then there are bad consequences or bad results. So then, likewise, now you have some belief regarding the karma. So that is a good view or right view. With compared to the you see within this in this world or on this earth, there are more than 8 billion people, but very small number of people or minority is there who believe that there is karma and the result. So, because of not having that right view, they are destined to be born in the hell. So, as we are the followers of Lord Buddha, we should understand, we should know the right view, and also we should develop these four right strivings in our mind. So, dear devotees, Rerukane Mahathero has given some other examples as well. You know, think about the Bodhisattva, the past lives of the Blessed One. You know, you might have heard about the Themia, the princess story. In accordance with the birth story of Themia, prince, our aspirant Buddha, the Bodhisattva, having ruled a country for 20 years, as the results had to suffer in the hell for 80,000 years. Now you see, dear devotees, the ruling period was just 20 years. So the suffering period is 80,000 years, because now as a king, in his previous life, he had to order the killings of these wrongdoers. So as a result of that 20-year ruling period, he had to suffer 80,000 years in the hell. See, now this is not anyone else, this is our Bodhisattva. So if that now Bodhisattva also had to suffer in that way, who are we, dear devotees? Now we have to think twice. Now we have to pay more attention on this development of the enlightenment factor. So again, even the wheel-turning monarch, in the sense the Chakravarti Raja, if not attains the state of stream enterer, the chances to be reborn in hells are limitless. Therefore, the fruition of stream entry, which completely prevents beings from hells, is worthier. So, dear devotees, now if we are in search of happiness within this world or within these five aggregates, we can't find the eternal peace, eternal happiness. It is always beyond the five aggregates. So that's why at the beginning of this Dhamma series, we have told you, according to the Rerukane Mahathero's voice, now supreme bliss of Nibbana, that is the only oasis that we can find the happiness, so inner peace. So try hard, push yourself hard for this supramundane path. So, dear devotees, even sometimes now our devotees, they tell us that there are difficulties. Now there are some kind of problems, issues arise whenever they try to practice the supramundane path. So what are the difficulties now you face, dear devotees? Sometimes maybe your loved ones, you are engaged in a profession, maybe your workload is very high, so there may be no enough amount of time that you can carry out your supramundane practices. And also sometimes your spouse, children, they might bother you, and anyhow we have to find the means, the daily wages, so we have to earn money, and as well as we have to earn the things to support the life. And sometimes in certain people who have no high means to support their life, the poverty is an issue, and enemies sometimes, and also discursive thoughts like sensual desires, now the hateful feelings like ill will, and also sensual indulgences and ill will, cruelty. All these are distractions, all these are the difficulties. Anyhow, These four right strivings are to overcome, are to endure these difficulties. Sometimes now, without doing a profession, without earnings, now you can't support your life as well as your family members. So the family members' life. So you have to fulfill their requirements and needs. Now that is, as a human being, now we have to do certain things. But still, while you are as lay people, while you are fulfilling your duties and responsibilities, now you have to always stay on the right track. Now that is what we call the supramundane path. So the Noble Eightfold Path, there are these four right strivings. It is very helpful, immensely they support our development. So dear devotees, one should have a strenuous striving to endure the above factors and practice meditation. So it is over to you again. Each and every individual, if they are seeking the inner peace or eternal happiness, they should endure these things, and they have to develop the four right strivings. So dear devotees, now at that times when there are distractions, when there are difficulties, when there are some kind of discouragements, always think about the Lord Buddha or Siddhartha, the ascetic's life, and as well as the Bodhisattva's life. Now how much of strenuous efforts he had gave or made to achieve this supreme bliss of Nibbana. So, under the Bodhi tree, ascetic Siddhartha made some kind of determination like this: only my skin, sinews, and bones may remain, may my blood and flesh dry out. Whatever the supramundane Dhamma attainable through manly striving, manly valor, whatsoever the cause, without achieving it, I will never ease my striving and stop meditation. This is how the ascetic Siddhartha made that determination on behalf of us, not for him, because now as an ascetic, the story, the Sumedha, the ascetic, he could achieve the supreme bliss of Nibbana by the advice of Lord Buddha Dipankara. But giving up that chance, now this Siddhartha or the Bodhisattva, the Sumedha, the ascetic, he started this harsh journey to give us the guidance once he have achieved the supreme bliss of Nibbana as a Samma Sambuddha. So we have to pay our gratitude to the Lord Buddha by following his teaching. So dear devotees, we can categorize people or individuals according to how they realize the Four Noble Truths. Now, one particular category or type is Uggati Tanyo. Those people, now they can understand the Dhamma very quickly, even by listening to a verse or listening to a stanza. The Sariputta Thero, as the Upatissa Paribhajaka, once the Assaji great Arahant, that Thero recited the Gatha. By listening to that Gatha itself, the Upatissa, the Paribhajaka, later on the Sariputta Thero, he could realize the Four Noble Truths. So he attained at that point the stream entry, the fruition, Sotapatti Pala. So those kind of people or those kind of individuals, people have that high level of merits in their previous lives. Now they are termed as the Uggatitanyu. And there are people called Vipachitanyu. Who are they? Sometimes that they cannot understand the Dhamma very quickly, but if Dhamma is elaborated by Lord Buddha or other disciple of the Lord Buddha, they can easily understand the Dhamma. And the next category is the Neyya Puggala. So that means they are the ones who are not skilled enough to attain enlightenment simply by listening to the Dhamma. So they have to practice further and further in order to understand the Four Noble Truths, in order to attain this Nibbana. So, there are complaints. Some people say now, during this period of time where we are living nowadays, at present, there is no chance of understanding the Four Noble Truths. So there's a difficulty in, finding the individuals who have attained the supreme bliss of Nibbana. In a way, that is true, but Thero suggests this. See, since there are no persons nowadays to make striving to the limit that the Buddha has recommended, no attainment of supramundane states. Now that is why we can't find the people who understand, who realize the Dhamma, noble truth easily. We can't find these states because now they are not ready to develop this much of high level of strivings, the right striving. So, dear devotees, again, if I explain further about the four right strivings, the Chattaro Samappadana, we can say there are no such limitations of time for the attainment of paths and fruitions. On the day that the Buddha passed away, he said to the wanderer Subhadda, Imecha Subhadda Bhikkho Samma Vihareyung Asunyo Loke Arahatehi Assa. The meaning is, if the practitioners can develop or dwell properly in the supramundane path, so then if he can develop the four right strivings, if they can develop the four establishment of mindfulness as Lord Buddha said, then there will be, definitely there is a chance of having the noble ones. Dear devotees, we have many more example stories. Now in this, the book, the explanation of the factors of enlightenment, Rerukane Thero has given some examples. Venerable Chakkupala Thero. He attained the Nibbana by practicing meditation without sleeping. Finally, as he attained the supreme bliss of Nibbana, the same time he lost his, vision. He became a blind person, but still that fruition was successful. So then when it come to the Venerable Pitimalla Thero, the Thero attained Nibbana with a great striving by walking as long as possible and then by kneeling. Once he couldn't walk or to carry out the walking meditation, he started kneeling. What happened, dear devotees? In one night, while he was kneeling, a certain hunter shows him, and assuming that it was a deer, shot him with an arrow. What next the Thero did was amazing, unbelievable. What? He slowly removed that arrow from his leg, and there was no anything to dress that wound. So what he did was he kept some, hay or grass to cover that wound. Then after that, he continued the meditation, the practice. So it is not gone vain that finally at the end of that day he could achieve the supreme bliss of Nibbana. So dear devotees, now it is always worthwhile to do the striving. So, Venerable Milakka Thero attained the state of fruition of non-returner, the Anagami level, by practicing meditation, keeping a bundle of wet hay on his head and putting his feet in the water when he was sleeping. So, dear devotees, now there are plenty of examples we find in the doctrine. So, all those Theros and the lay people, they have developed these enlightenment factors in their mind, so that now they could eradicate all their defilements in order to get the fruitions. So these 9 supramundane states or 9 supramundane dhammas we have to achieve. That is the only way we can end this harsh journey of samsara. Dear devotees, in page 91 in this volume, the Rerukane Theros has given a very good statement. Since you are going to die in any way, dying by practicing the Dhamma is hundreds and 1,000 times nobler. One day after spending our lifespan, maybe 80 years or less than, or maybe a couple of years greater than the 80 years, we will be surviving. But anyway, at the end of the day, we all gonna die. So now, are you going to die as a person full of defilements, or are you going to die as a noble person who have attained, who have seen the supreme bliss of Nibbana? So this is over to you, dear devotees. Now this is the question in front of all of us. Always we have to make sure that we are not I am not a person dying with defilements. Now I'm a follower, I'm a pupil, or I'm a disciple of Lord Buddha. So I'm gonna eradicate almost all my defilements, so that I will worship Lord Buddha by developing these enlightenment factors in me. Now this is the way you should strive again and again. So far we have discussed with you that what are these 4 right strivings, chattaro sammappadana. So dear devotees, again if I brief, now what are these chattaro sammappadana? The striving that make for the unarising of the unarisen unwholesome thoughts, the striving that make for the abandoning of arisen unwholesome thoughts, the striving that make for the arising of wholesome thoughts which have not yet arisen, and the last one, the striving that make for the maintaining of wholesome thoughts which have already arisen. So all the defilements we should abandon, and we should stop the arising of new defilements. And for the wholesome section, what we have to do is we have to develop further and further the wholesomeness or wholesome states. And also it is your duty to make sure that all these wholesome states arise or generate in your mind, so that ultimately we'll achieve the supreme bliss of Nibbana. So dear devotees, now a few more facts to cover related to this topic. In next Dhamma sermon also, we are going to emphasize on this chattaro sammappadana. Finally, as a conclusion, I should say, even we achieve the goal as a monarch for the whole world, or as a king of God, or a king or for the whole realms, 31 realms, that is useless. Because at the end of the day, we're gonna suffer again back in the hell if we could not eradicate that personality belief, so-called the Sakkaya Ditti. Now that is the thing we should eliminate from our mind, so ultimately we can end this harsh journey of samsara. So we bless you with the help of the merits that we have collected today. May you all be well and happy. May you all be fortunate to end this harsh journey of samsara sooner than later. Dear devotees, finally let's transfer the merits to the contributors. So this heartfelt contribution for this Dhamma sermon is given by Mr. Saman Kumara of Gampaha, his wife, Mrs. Champika, and their daughter Harshani. And may Mrs. Champika, who is currently unwell, be blessed with a swift recovery along with enduring health. May every member of the family be free from illness and enjoy strength and vitality. We also extend our blessings for the full recovery and lasting health of Mother W.M. Somawati and Mother Jayavati, who are presently in ailing condition. And may Mr. Dinesh Saparamadu and his entire family be blessed with robust health and ever-growing prosperity. Furthermore, may the Senate Group of Companies, Colombo 7, Apigo Company and Aploa Company thrive and prosper. Moreover, may the abundant merits accumulated through this noble deed be dedicated to all your departed loved ones, including the late A.L. Somapala, A.L. Vasanta Kumara, KDG Saparamadu and Aryavati Saparamadu. May they all attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana and eternal peace. Finally, may peace, wellness and happiness illuminate your lives always. May the boundless blessings of the sacred triple gem guide and protect you all. Akasatta Chibummatta Devanaga Mahiddika Punyantang Anumoditva Chiran Rakkantu Sasana. Akasatta Chibummatta Devanaga Mahiddika Punyantang Anumoditva Chiran Rakkantu Deshana. Akasatta Chibummatta Devanaga Mahiddika Punyantang Anumoditva Chiran Rakkantu Mamparanti. Abhivadana Silissa Nichang Vadda Pachayino Chattaro Dhamma Vaddanti Ayuvanno Sukhambalam Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Mevacha Ato Nibbana Sampatti Minate Samicchatu.